Angela Bibb-Merritt. I'm one of the stewards who's been trying to help the workers, and it keeps me in trouble. They'll trump up any type of charges on me and lay a heavy-handed discipline down on me. Conditions here are really bad. Management tries to take you out on emergency suspension for the simplest thing. And like I said, I'm a steward. They're trying to fire me. And like I said, they'll trump up any kind of charges on me. And then they don't want me to explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it. They just want to trump up charges and lay a heavy-handed discipline. I mean, the workers can get an emergency suspension for bringing back mail after working past 8 hours. And they may have a doctor's note that said they can't work past 8 hours. So if they go out there and work past 8 hours and get injured, the Postal Service isn't going to try to help them. And it's a lot of paperwork to try to help them, okay? A lot of times management don't want to give time to try to do the paperwork to try to help carriers. I have to do a lot of this stuff on my own time, and I'm the steward. They're trying to fire me, okay?
You think that's why they fired the chief steward? To just intimidate people?
Yeah, they try to intimidate people any way they can. I mean, slavery's been over for about 200 years now, but it's like we're going back to the turn of the century sweatshops, okay? Now, like I said, they'll trump up any kind of charge on you, put you out on emergency suspension when you're trying to explain what you're doing, why you're doing. That's interpreted as back talk. And like I said, they want to attack.
And how long have you worked here at the post office?
I've been here 28 years.
So there have been other demonstrations and protests about workplace bullying and harassment before.
Oh yes. Let's go all the way back to the 90s. Okay, I remember making signs and stuff for a man all the way back in the 90s. Okay? And I'm not the only steward that they're attempting to fire. There's been some others. I mean, look, we're in the 21st century and they got people scared to take a lunch break. Now, doesn't this sound like some 1900 sweatshop conditions?
This is the U.S. government. They're supposed to follow the laws and the procedures for health and safety. And you're afraid, say people are afraid to take lunch breaks here at the post office?
Lunch break, which we don't get paid for. A lot of times they're afraid. They might fall behind and go into overtime violation and could be disciplined. Okay? And I can count the number of times since I've been a steward that I take a 10-minute break in the office. I can count the number of times. There's so many problems and issues when a 10-minute break comes. A lot of times I got to work right through my break.
What does it say about management that they have this attitude towards you and other workers in the shop stewards?
They try to reverse things, get us back to a dictatorial sweatshop conditions. Okay? And I mean, I thought we were trying to make progress. I thought we were trying to avoid injuries. You know, people get tired, we tend to have more accidents. And it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of expenses on the taxpayers if they get the slightest injury. You know, doctors have to be paid.
Are there a lot of injuries here as a result of this?
Oh, yes, a lot of injuries.
What happens?
Accidents, fall downs, get bit by a dog, sprain their ankle, carpal tunnel, hurt their neck, back, and shoulder. Oh, I can just sit here and go on. Stuff wrong with their feet, stuff wrong with their ankles. A lot of injuries.
And what's the response of management to this?
Indifference. Sometimes they even get mad at the worker and try to threaten the worker if they get injured. One lady went out there and she sprained her ankle, and she tried to keep working. It just kept getting worse. And she reported it to management, and management acted like they was going to discipline her because she didn't report it. Well, the woman was trying to be a good worker and continue to work, okay, but it just kept getting worse.
So they're trying to punish the worker for having an
Punish the worker, taking us back to sweatshop conditions, okay? And anybody that tries to speak up for the worker is in danger of having some trumped up, exaggerated charges on them. This has got to stop.
I'm Kathy Simonson from Branch 214, the Letter Carriers Union.
So what's happening here?
They have issued removals to some of our stewards. They're abusing our stewards. They're intimidating letter carriers, you know, just bullying, and we want it to stop.
And exactly what do you mean by bullying?
Yelling, harassing them, following them, you know, making them, work faster than humanly possible.
How long has this been going on?
This has been going on for years, but especially now where they're targeting our stewards. So, you know, that's unacceptable.
And what union is this?
This is National Association of Letter Carriers, Branch 214.
So you're saying that they're actually going after union people, strong union people.
Yeah. By removing one of our stewards, they're removing one of the chief stewards that's there to represent a huge building. So they don't have anyone to represent them while she's gone. You know, they have other stewards, but they don't have their chief steward.
What are they saying about her removal? What is the post office saying about it?
They've just accused her of, something that is not a terminal. It's not a valid, accusation. They haven't provided her due process. They've charged her, but they failed to do a proper investigation. So she's going to be brought back. But we're here to support her, and then other shop stewards. They're trying to do the same thing, and that way they intimidate the letter carriers when they do that.
Isn't that illegal?
Yeah.
I thought it was against the law.
Yeah, it is against the law. So that's why, we're here. We want to make the public aware. That's not acceptable. We're human beings, and, we can't tolerate being treated this way. The letter carriers are out here working 12 hours, 13 hours a day, and carrying heavy loads, and they just keep pushing and pushing until, something's about to break.
And, has there been any health problems as a result of harassment and bullying? Do people have health problems as a result of harassment and bullying?
Yeah, people get stressed out. I mean, a normal person would get stressed out. There's only so much the body can take, especially if they're working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. And especially the new hirees, it's really, really hard for them because they're trying to learn at the same time and trying to keep up with the mail volume. Right now it's election time for San Francisco. So it's really, really hard to move the mail and have that pressure on you at the same time.
And what is the postmaster in San Francisco?
The postmaster's name is Raj Sangagera. So she's basically not said much. She was gone for a while and she just came back. So we haven't heard anything about what her position is on this. But we filed a grievance, so that's in the grievance procedure right now.
And this hasn't been the first demonstration and protest by NALC 214. You've had several. There have been the suicide. There have been workplace incidents. It seems like there's a long history of this in San Francisco at these post offices.
Yeah, there's a history of workplace harassment, hostile work environment, a lot of, people that, they just can't tolerate it after a while. It's a physical and mental abuse, emotional abuse. Especially when they get to our stewards, that's really getting to the heart of it. Because if they get to the stewards, then regular carriers are afraid to come forward. If they can do this to a shop steward, what can't they do?
So they're trying to intimidate people and terrorize people, so they're afraid of speaking up for their rights?
Yes. That's the main thing. They're intimidating carriers. Now they're afraid to come forward. They don't want the same thing happening to them. They don't want to be put out, without pay. She's been without pay.
For how long?
Since late August. So they haven't paid her since then. So it's not justified.
What's her name?
Kathy Simonson. I'm the executive vice president for Branch 214.
And how is she surviving without pay?
Right now, she's just surviving on whatever savings she has. And so if it goes on any longer, she's going to have to apply for unemployment benefits or, whatever, family, co-workers, that sort of thing. There's only, especially in San Francisco, it's a really high cost of living here. So it's really, really hard.
So what can people do who want to support you and her?
Well, they could come here to picket today until 6 p.m., but other than that, they can write letters of support to 2310 Mason Street, our union, 2310 Mason Street, 3rd floor in San Francisco, 94133. They can also write letters to the San Francisco postmaster right here at 1300 Evans, San Francisco 94188.
And what does it say about the fact that apparently this is ongoing? There have been other pickets, and they continue to bully and harass workers and shopsters. What does that say about the management of the post office?
I think it's a culture that the way that they manage is just to bully, harass. They think that that's the only way they can get people to go faster, to do better in their minds. But it actually, it has an effect where people get tired and you know, they don't want to put more than they already do, like skipping lunch, skipping break. You know, they're not supposed to do that, but a lot of people do that because they feel pressure.
Does that cause more injuries and health and safety problems?
Yeah, injuries, of course, if they're going faster, you know, they need to, you know, do their job faster, walk faster. It's going to cause a lot of repetitive injuries, falls, trips, you know, other safety issues, you know, driving, if they're driving too fast, you know, but all of that, management is not going to come and say, oh, we made you do that. So if the person gets injured, it's going to be all on them. So we tell them, you know, make sure that you do your job safely and walk, you know, as long a fair works, you know, fair day's pay for a fair, you know, work for the whole day. So you, they're just doing their best, right? So they're human beings too. A lot of them have been carrying mail for a long time. So
And your body breaks down, you work harder and harder.
Definitely, the body breaks down. You know, 35 pounds, a lot of people don't know that. We carry 35 pounds on our back for the 8 hours minimum per day, plus up to 70 pounds of intermittent with the packages. You know, that's increasing with the Amazon deliveries. You know,
So they've been hiring more people because of the packages?
They've been hiring more people, not training them as well, not spending enough time training them, but lower wages for the new people, and they have the same amount of pressure, and if not more, you know, because they're trying to learn at the same time.
Hey, ho, ho, bring Angela back home. Hey, hey, ho, ho, bring Angela back home.